So I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I'm super excited to see Clue, so I'm super excited to have you on my podcast. And
I'm
so,
very excited to be here.
thank you. And so for the first part, can you please explain a little bit about yourself for those who don't know who you are?
Sure. Yeah, my name is John Shartzer. I'm currently touring with the play Clue. I play Mr. Green, and when I'm not doing that, I'm an actor living in Los Angeles, and I'm a dad, and I'm a husband, and yeah, just a person.
That's awesome. And so this is different than Clue the musical, correct?
This is definitely different. It's not a musical, though. Everybody in our show is musically
Trained.
inclined and trained. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think with the style, and you can tell me this after you see it. I think the style lends itself to those who have musical sensibilities, just the precision and the timing of everything. But no, this is just a play.
Nice, nice. And so is this based on the movie?
Yes, it is.
And
It's
so
very much like the movie.
that's awesome. And so I know in the movie there's three different endings. And so is it just one ending in the play, or is there many endings?
Well, so now we're getting into spoilers here,
Without
Timothy. Now we're
spoilers.
talking
Yeah.
about, yeah, yeah. I would say that we do the same show every time,
Nice.
and we do an homage, so to
Nice.
speak, to the three endings that happened in the movie. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so what was the audition process like for Clue live on stage?
So the audition process is a couple years before we started the tour. I did a production of Clue in Los Angeles.
Oh,
Actually, it was in La Mirada, California,
who would you play in that
and
one?
I played Mr. Green,
Oh, awesome.
and the audition process was just the casting director called me in. I had done a show a couple years before that where I played a character very similar to Mr. Green, an anxious sort of nerdy type of dude, and the casting director brought me into this. And I same director, same writer of our production was at our show there when we did it, and when it came time to do the tour, our director Casey Hushin texted me and she said, "Do you want to go on tour with this show?" And I looked at my wife and I was like, "I." She was like, "Yeah, go, girl." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll go." So that was the process for this particular tour. But just because I had done it
Yeah,
before, but before it was this traditional. You go in for a first call back, bite your nails, wait till you hear something, sort of thing.
is this your first national tour?
Yes, it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, playing Mr. Green, what has Mr. Green taught you throughout currently playing him?
Oh man, I just it's just so much. And I don't know if it's Mr. Green teaching me or if it's like we said, this is my first national tour, and I'm on stage with a lot of people who have done a lot of big things, and I'm just sharing a stage with them and seeing what they do, and I'm learning a lot about what it means to take up space, which is kind of counter to Green because Green wants to be as small
Yeah,
as possible. He almost, I believe I've gotten a note from our director. The first half of the show, she just wants to forget about me, like really forget that he's there so that he has somewhere to go as the play progresses. But I'm learning to just take up space and to find confidence. So it's weird that this journey is teaching me how to be not like
yeah,
Mr. Green because I feel so much like Mr. Green already in my life.
that's awesome. And so, while being on a national tour, what are the perks of being on a national tour, and what is some of the hardships of being on a national tour?
Well, I mean, you get to see a lot of great places. I mean, what a journey it is. You grow up, you in high school and college, and this is what you dream about doing. It's either a tour or Broadway, and um, getting to work with these people. I mean, it's all great. It's sometimes I find myself in my hotel room, kind of just looking around, just willing myself to just be present, to just look around and tell yourself this is what you wanted, this is where you are. um, the hard stuff is that the first part of this tour I was away from my wife and my daughter, which it really does compound every day and you start finding yourself very sad. And but luckily I don't have to deal with that anymore because my wife just joined the cast of our show.
Oh, awesome.
And
Who's she playing?
so, yeah, she's actually one of our female offstage covers. So she
Oh, nice.
knows four tracks in the
Oh,
show. Yeah,
wow.
she has her Yvette put in rehearsal tomorrow here in
Wow.
Atlanta, and that's why I'm down here in the hotel lobby because they're up in our room right now. My daughter's getting ready to go to bed. So that hardship is not there anymore. But there are other things, it's a long run, and we've been doing this since February, and it's a physical comedy, and it's starting to, the bruises are they're there, and the bones are starting to ache and groan, but it's really is all worth it. It's like a dream to do something like this.
That's great. And so, is there a certain tour stop that you are looking forward to in the coming weeks?
Yes, in the coming weeks, I am looking forward to Chicago, and I think that's when you're going to see the show,
It
right?
is,
Yeah,
yes.
it's for so many reasons. You hear a lot of great things about Chicago. I'm definitely not looking forward to the the time of year that we're going to be there.
Yeah.
We're in there in February, and you know
It's a little chilly
things
up
things are
here.
going to get chilly.
Yeah.
I know it, I know it. We were just in Bloomington, and I think
Oh,
at one
Bloomington,
point,
Indiana.
whatever the Bloomington, Indiana,
Oh, nice, nice,
and it
nice.
said on our weather app that it felt like -3 outside.
Wow.
So dark times.
Yeah.
So in spite of that, that's how much I'm looking forward to Chicago's. In spite of that, I'm still very much excited about that. We're there for 2 weeks,
And the
which also means when you're
CIBC,
touring.
the CIBC theater is beautiful. So,
Is it really good? That's
yeah.
another great thing about touring is that you get to go to all of these beautiful theaters. I mean, they're old and some are new, some are old. It's the variety of them too, but the the scale and every day, every first day of our sit down in a city, we get to be in there when it's empty, and you get to just stand on stage when we're doing our mic check and just take it all in, and it's really awesome to see all of these places. So, what theater did you say was in Chicago? The
Uh,
CIBC.
it's the CIBC, yeah. I think it's the second
Yeah,
smallest Broadway in Chicago theater.
yeah, I'm very excited to be there. I'm very excited. Look forward to that.
Plus Chicago has a bunch of like tourist stops. I mean, we have the Bean, we have Navy Pier, so that'll also be.
Yes, yes. And now that I'm traveling with a toddler, we always look for children's museums
Oh
or
yeah.
parks or fun. I mean, we're trying to milk as much as we can out of this experience as we can.
That's awesome. And so, without spoilers, what is your favorite line and scene in the show to perform each night?
To perform, oh well, it's not a spoiler because if you're a fan of the movie, we I know that when our writer Sandy Rustin was working on the script, she worked closely with the people who were attached to the film and the people who were attached to the board game to make sure that everybody was happy. Um, and there's a line from the movie at the very end. Mr. Green, he stands at the door and he turns out and he says, "I'm going home to sleep with my wife." And I get to say that at the end of our show, and I get to rip my glasses off and look out. And I think that's grown to be my favorite part to do, favorite line to say, so to speak.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite scene that you don't perform but you get to watch every night?
We don't get a
No.
real big chance to watch. I mean, once we're out there and we're doing the stuff and we're cooking, it really does just we're all in it the whole
I mean,
time.
everything
But
moves so quickly
it definitely does. It goes quick, and we barely have time to have sips of water when we go outside. But
because it's
I
one
really
act,
do.
correct?
It's all one act. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no intermission, and but like I said, everybody in the show is very funny, very talented. There's always little things that they're doing. Our Wadsworth is my buddy Jeff Scouron. He was there with me when I first did it in LA, and when our original Wadsworth left, he came and joined the tour.
Really.
And he's always doing little, like, small little face things and like nuancy things. It's just he's so dialed in and precise that he can make you laugh with the smallest little movements, and that's the sort of stuff that really tickles me. So I really like watching him when I
That's great.
can.
And so, did you play Clue when you were younger at all?
I didn't.
No.
No, no. And
And
he and I actually had to watch a video on how to play it the other day so
really?
that we could talk about it. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so, what was your first experience with Clue then? Was it being in the play as Mr. Green?
The movie, I saw the movie.
Oh, nice.
I saw the movie. Not like there are people in our cast who are religious about their fandom when it comes to watching the movie, and I do love it, and I love the actors in it, what they did. But I had seen it a couple times. That was my first and really only Clue experience until the play.
That's awesome. And so, what advice would you give to your younger self if you could go back in time and tell young John anything?
If I could tell, um, it's hard to, because you don't want to butterfly effect yourself away from
Yeah.
the beautiful life that you're in right now. But I would tell him to be easier on himself. I could be very critical, and I think having a lot more self-love and confidence is something that what a gift you can give yourself as an actor. There's going to be so many people who judge everything that you do. If the choices you make in your heart have to go through your own gauntlet before they are out in the world, they're not going to be as bright as they could be if they just shot out with, fearlessly. And I wish I could kind of explain that to myself. I'm still trying to figure it out myself right now, but I think that's what I would say.
That's great. And so, similar to the last question, but what advice would you give to other actors who want to do acting professionally?
I would say do it. I would say again, it's love. I think it's fear or love are the two things that we kind of see in anything really, but in acting, if you ever find yourself scared or you don't know what to do, if you're not doing the right thing, always go back to love. Like love what you're doing. If in this moment you are, making a meal out of a scene, you have to really love it and enjoy it, because if you're having fun, the audience is having fun. If you're having fun, you can also sustain yourself. In the business, there's a lot of there's a lot of downs and hard times that you can experience. But if you just keep going back to why do I love this? Let's have fun. Um, then you could really have a fruitful and long lasting career.
That's great. And so that wraps up today's interview. I'd like to thank you for joining me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much
Yeah, of course.
for asking me to do it. I'm honored.
Yeah, thank you.